All right, what up, party people? I am Erica, and I'm here with Goody. Woo woo.
Hey now, it's
We are
Goody. I'm here. I'm trying to stay in the swing of things. I'm feeling, but if you at first you don't succeed, try again.
exactly. So tonight we are going to be recapping specifically season 2, episode 7, Sex Lies and Everything Caught Up on tape or whatever. Y'all know the latest episode, but we haven't seen you guys in a while, so we'll get going with some kind of before the things we've missed. But before we do that, I'll do
I
my
thought I
intro
had
and then we
the
can get
ending,
into it.
tired of pretending. Won't let 'em get the best of me. Whoa, 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 give me a break. The game is survival. Give me a break and play my right.
All righty. Okay, so let's start off with because I think we've missed like I don't know, maybe 3 weeks.
Three, yeah.
So yeah, I think we've missed like 3 episodes. So anything you want to kind of touch on, and I'll let you go first, and then I'll chime in if I can even remember these episodes. But I
Um,
have been liking the show so far. So
so I still like the show. It feels more authentic than season one still. I feel like I even like the addition of the therapist. I feel like it is more impactful this time around because it seems like real people addressing real issues. So they're kind of giving the therapist something to hold on to, like something to work with. But episodes in whole, I don't remember, but I do remember the couples.
okay, well, okay, what's the couple that went home? Let's talk about them first.
You have a picture of them because I don't remember those names. I feel like
Let
the
me see. Yeah, I was about to say, yeah, let me put the names up because, girl, I'm like, I forgot their names. Okay, hold on. Let's see. The couple that went home, because I thought the way they went home was kind of crazy anyway. It was, let me look for them. Did I delete them already? Let's see. Wait a second. Wait, where are they? Alexis Cinco. Wait, hold on. Oh, here it is. Alicia and Irvin. That's what it is. Okay. Okay, thanks.
so for me with Alicia and Irvin, the thing that I note about them, Alicia, one, I feel like she's one of those people who, and I guess I've been here too. She kind of buries herself behind spiritual and religious, and she buries herself behind a whole bunch of things to justify her BS. Talking about she
Yes.
needs peace and she's being disrupted. I think all of that was cap. I think she's full of it. She did not like that man, and it was very clear she did not like that man. It was clear to him, it was clear to the people in the house. She ain't like him. I
Okay.
Go ahead.
Wait, okay. So I'm trying to remember. Okay, so they went to therapy and then I'm like, I can't remember what their last fight was about. Because they were like, I remember they went to therapy and then he got mad. I can't remember what their last fight about. I just remember him being like, "Oh, I just remember him coming up with that thing about his ex."
Well,
But
that's what I'll say. I didn't think he needed any excuse for why he shouldn't stay in the house. I think his last straw was when she got in the mix of something else with other people. He had to come to her and, kind of, she put him in a position to defend her, but her actions weren't really defendable because she kind of, who she approached? She approached what? Brandon? She approached somebody in
Oh,
the
right. That was a big thing with Brandon, and Brandon came back later and apologized to her.
Yeah, because he was kind of sideways in how he spoke to her, but the way she was speaking to him was sideways.
Right. Right. I agree. I agree. And then, oh wait, was this when they went to the? Oh, was this when they went to the party and she was trying to dance, and then he called her weird, and then
He didn't call her weird. You
right,
find
but right. He didn't
that
call
the
her weird, but he
behavior was
said
weird.
right. He
Be-
said her behavior was weird, and then she went back with the ladies, and then the next day,
They did the therapy.
they did the therapy, and they seemed like they were getting closer. And then what was the next fallout? I have to.
The next,
I
I think he just realized that look, this ain't it. He did not. So I think the root of it not being it for him is the fact that she was not really attracted to him. To the point whereby when they went to play golf, it seemed that she was making up a reason for them to have an argument because he wasn't talking bad about her. And she,
right.
what are you saying? You're saying I'm weird? And I forget who was with sitting next to him at the time was like, he didn't say that. But then
Right, exactly, exactly. I think it was Ty, and then she just seemed very triggered. And then I think I'm trying to remember. Oh, well, anyway, okay. So basically, he's sitting out there and he tells her this story about his ex. And I was like Team Irvin the whole
until
time
that point,
until that point. Because I was like, dude, if you want to leave, just leave. But to kind of he seemed like he was trying to save face, and that kind of goes back to the one of the issues I have is maybe they need to be like married at first sight where they all live in the same building, but all these people in your business, ugh, I hated every episode.
far
So
too many people in the business. Now, I think the saving face component, he knew she wasn't attracted to him. This story that he pulled out of his behind just seems so far fetched that even Mr. Shady, I do not remember his name, the dude who is dealing with the chick who has the 6 or 7 kids, said he's not Eddie Murphy. Um,
Jared,
yeah,
Jared and
Jared was
Charlie.
looking, and you could see him kind of trying not to laugh because it was like, what? What does some other chick have to do with it? But I think it served two purposes. One, to show the people that even though she wasn't feeling him, he did have somebody who was feeling him. And two, to let her know you ain't all that, right?
Yes, right,
I
right.
And you know what? She was insufferable because I'm like, they could have just stayed to try and get the little piece of checks, but she really was insufferable.
Yeah, I mean, I think she definitely seemed like she was there for the exposure. Like I'm assuming they don't pay them enough for them to actually be there for the money, but she definitely seemed like she was there for the checks. Is my sound better
Yes,
now? Okay, okay.
so I
So
mean,
let's,
so they were gone.
yeah, so they were gone.
Let's get them out of here.
I know. So let's talk about, I guess we'll talk about the people that really didn't do too much in this last episode. So we can kind of rehash. So Kiki and Brandon. Okay,
Um,
so they're still a hot mess. Although I think when they went to the golf thing, I don't know, like, I guess they're cooler once she gets him to drink. Like, I don't even understand.
I
Uh,
feel like
there's-
so. Just talking about them in general, she is not too far out of her relationship. If you recall, the producer was like, "Are you still in love with your ex?" And she refused to answer that.
right, which would mean yes, obviously.
I think that's a yes. And then on top of I think that's a yes, I do think there's a low self-esteem component associated with her. But I almost wonder if she's even attracted to him because it's like she doesn't want him to touch her.
Well, I was thinking, I thought that at first, but then I'm thinking, I think she's still with the other person. I don't really think she's broken up. So I think that's the whole thing where it's like maybe she told him something or whatever, like, I'm just doing a show, I'm just doing it for a check, I'm just doing whatever she may have said. But I after a while, I was like, she's not saying that she's not in love with the person. She's halfway. They really hurt me.
Just
They
kind of
cheated.
halfway, don't touch me.
Yeah, and I mean, she might not be attracted to Brandon, but I think she doesn't want to cheat on the person that she's actually with, which is her ex.
Which
Cuz
makes
she
sense, but it doesn't. She still hasn't told him that she just stopped living with the dude. I think that she could be broken up with the dude. I think because dude left the house. I think she's broken hearted over this dude who was cheating on her left and right. But
Okay.
they
Okay. Well,
didn't much
time will
going on.
tell. Time will tell. I did think that at first, but there was something about the way she refused to answer the question about still being in love with him, which sort of leads me to believe that there's more still going on there. And I mean, I get it that she has all these issues and she doesn't, whatever, in terms of not being touched. But I think that I don't know. I'm just not buying that. I think she has another secret, or she's still messing with her ex, or she
I was
got something going
thinking
on.
just now it would be cool if, like, you know how the families come to visit? It would
Hmm.
be cool, like, if her mom was coming to visit and her ex was like, "Oh hell no, I'm going too," because she doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it's because she's still banging her ex, but we'll see. I
Right?
think somebody's hitting it. It's just
Does
not
she
going to
have
be
children?
Brandon.
Does she
What?
have a child at home?
Um, they haven't mentioned it, but everybody else has a mystery baby, so who knows?
Okay, so let's get to the next couple.
All right, so let's move on to Jay and Cinco. They actually had a fight the last episode when they were playing Never Have I Ever or
Yeah,
something. And she had slept with a couple people in the same day or something. And I
yeah.
didn't understand why he was mad. I was like, dude, you smashed her when y'all first got to the house in the shower. So
He said he was upset because if she had done it while they were talking, he'd
well,
have
no,
it.
obviously I get that part,
But
but
I think
she smashed you right away before when you all got there. She's the first person to give it up. So
what I think is something that they highlighted for us is they have been hiding their disputes in an effort to really seem like the perfect couple in the house.
yeah, I do agree with that. Which I'm kind of like, that makes it seem more like a ready to love contest because I'm like, it's not a prize. Like either you get with the person or you don't. But yeah, I think they have been hiding. And I did feel like he overreacted. And I guess my basis for that was because she slept with you so quickly. You already know how she get down. So,
But
you
I
know,
think the true issue for why he got frustrated is because when he's generally asking her questions, she does not answer his questions. And she says she doesn't have to answer his questions, which her
well,
friend was like, "Yo, you can't do that. If you're getting to know this man, you have to answer his questions because."
Well, kind of, but it's like if you're basically asking me, to some extent, what's my body count or did I cheat on you,
Which I'm sure
then
he seems that young.
yeah, the answer that you're going to get is the answer you're going to get.
But overall,
Wait 1 second, hold on.
I like I like their visitors. It was
Yeah.
his friend and her sister. I like them nonetheless. I like them.
Yeah, I mean, I felt like their visitors from what I recall
Was they had
kept it pretty real. So I did like that part.
um they even with the little bickering, if they would just be like a regular couple, they still seem like they're the ones going home with each other because all
Yeah.
the rest of the people seem like they don't really like each other.
Yeah, but also like you mentioned, we probably feel that way because like even this episode, we didn't really see um see that much of them. So so I think, yeah, I think they're having, I guess they're figuring out where you can film where there's no cameras, and that's where they have their arguments. Because I
Right.
feel like we're not seeing enough of them to really,
I
yeah.
mean, so what we're seeing from this young, handsome, very tall guy is that he seems to be a really good kid, right? She says she's never met or dealt with anyone who communicates at the same level that he has a very high level of communication where he wants to talk about the things. And she's like, "Get out of my face." But cute little couple. I still like them. They still ready for love.
Indeed. All right. So let's do before we get to Tati. I guess we only saw a little bit of Jared and Charlie in this last episode. So we can talk a little bit about them and kind of, Jared is still kind of, I guess, pretending that he likes Charlie. They went to the boom boom room. So,
Which I think that's really gross of him to know that the cameras are rolling and to be such a creep. And just based on that first week they were in the house when he was totally duplicitous, I don't like him. It's like he's in everybody's business, and like he's in everyone's business with
yeah,
advice. With advice.
I agree. And before we get to Clay and Tati, one thing I did that kind of touches on them a little bit, which was happening in the last episode as well as this episode, this from our latest one, is so Clay told Jared about the kid, and everybody told everyone. And so the big thing is like, oh, Tati doesn't know, and he's making full of Tati. And there was even a scene with Charlie telling Ty about the baby or whatever. And it was just like, man, come on.
So he's just not trustworthy. He didn't have to tell anybody that business. But at the same time, he don't know those people. So the tea was hot. So he was like, let me pour it. But I don't like this dude. And she don't seem too bright either.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so
Oh, fit and equipped, he has to only be there for the show because which doesn't even make sense. He has a 2 month. No, he don't have whatever month old the child is. He needs to be home with his kid as much as she needs to be home with hers. I don't understand.
yeah, fitting equipped. I agree. I feel like I was going to type. He doesn't even care, basically, that he's looking like a creep. Like he's getting a horrible, horrible edit, and it's almost like he doesn't care. He doesn't care that no one cares how. He doesn't, because some of the stuff he's not even saying to the other guys. He's saying like in confessionals to us. So he really wants us to know that he's a jerk.
But then on top of, he really wants us to know. Clearly, they're going to be a center piece of the next episode, and that's crazy to me.
Yeah.
Did you see how he was talking to her?
Yeah. Yeah. That's going to be.
That's wild.
That's going to be a lot. Let's see. Let's talk about. Okay, so we did do. We can talk a little bit about Alexis and Chris. They had some visitors this episode, so we'll talk about them a little bit more. I did like in the earlier episode when Chris pulled Alexis aside and was like, okay, stop being so messy. And that was the first time I felt like she took any sort of correction at all positively. Because usually she's just very combative and rah-rah, dare I say aggressive. But she's doing the most. But in that particular episode, which I think was I don't know when it was.
Throughout the episode, she seemed very granted, I don't necessarily like it. She seemed very submissive.
Yeah.
And now
yeah, but
I
did think he had a point that when they were doing whatever game they were
the,
doing, and
the
then it came out about Clay and Tati, the secrets, and she was kind of, making her little snide remarks or laughing or whatever she did. I think the way he handled it was really good, and I did appreciate that she showed the maturity to be like, oh, okay, he's really looking out for me. So I did like that.
yeah, but for me, as a 50-year-old woman, I don't even know if she's 50 yet. She dealt with this young kid. I know I would have been looking at him like, for real? Because, ultimately, like she told her friend, I ain't never have to work this hard. I didn't know you was supposed to work this hard for the young bucks.
Yeah, I mean, I do agree with that. So
Why am I working so
all
hard?
right, so I guess we can get it pop into the latest episode. Um, so because I think those were one of the few key. So okay, so one of the things we find out in this episode, um, and it's all about to me the gossiping, right? So since we're on that topic, so in the beginning of this episode, or I should say before we get here, the last episode, Tati and Clay cooked, and
Right.
he brought her flowers, and he's always like so extra, and she kind of, even though she knows he's lying, she's kind of feeding into it, and everybody at the table is kind of like, "Ooh, she a fool, she a fool."
It was clearly
Right,
manipulation.
right. And but I don't like the idea that everybody at the table is sort of like snickering behind your back.
That's disgusting. But then, so Chris has the discussion with Alexis, and he's telling her, look, you got to learn to not put yourself in these positions. You represent me, I represent you, yada yada. She leaves that discussion and she goes to make the kind of apology that is so awkward that it is clear that something is amiss.
Right, right. She,
And it's kind of the perfect opportunity for Clay to be like, we can talk about it later. But he lies again.
yeah, I agree with that. Although I felt like the way Alexis went in there was still kind of messy. I think it was the
Yeah.
apology. It was the apology to kind of get him to spill the tea, and it didn't work. But it was a nice try.
And at this point, I don't think she really knew what the thing
Right? Yeah,
was.
she didn't know at that point. I don't think because Chris didn't tell her, and then she went to Clay even after she made the apology. And he's like, "Oh, I got her some flowers. That's a surprise, or whatever."
Yeah.
And it was like she knew he was lying to her, but And so what we find out here in this first clip with Jay, which is really the only time they don't really say too much this episode. But one thing we find out, well, she's braiding his hair, which I thought was cute, is we find out that Clay and Tatiana, so they go to the boom boom room, which is another thing. I don't know. I To me, I feel like you have all these lies and you're still sleeping with the person on national TV, which is kind of still sort of disgusting to
Well,
me.
I I feel like it showed a lack of integrity to go to the boom boom room with her instead of having a full-fledged transparent discussion and then letting her decide if she would end up there with him or
Exactly,
not.
exactly. And I think that was the same issue I had with Jared and Chris as well. So I'm sorry, Jared and Charlie. And so what we find out is there's a moment when I guess, they were all there, and Clay's friend is coming, and he tells them that it's a porn star, which I was just like, why did you have to do that? And this is a discussion that they're having here, which is the only reason why I'm bringing it up now, because we're going to end obviously with Clay and Tati, because that was pretty much most of the episode. But
And then to Jay's point, that wasn't something he needed to tell them. And it's like, why are you telling us all of this tea, but you're not telling her anything?
right,
She don't know that. What she don't know nothing. Why do we need to know? Now you're kind of making us complicit.
yes, which is what he's been doing the entire time.
So what's the next one you have? Because
All right.
we have
So the
been in.
next couple we're going to talk about is, let's talk about the visitors with Alexis and Chris. This was kind of like not very interesting but slightly interesting. I thought cuz I don't know, again, we've talked about this. I kind of think Alexis and Chris, after the couple that left already, I feel like they're the next plants. I don't feel like I don't know why
Yeah, this
they
can't
don't
be
seem
real.
real at all. But her friend came. Oh, and this was another thing, kind of like from last season. Am I the only person who feels like this person isn't even really her friend? Like this is a new girlfriend? I'm like,
Like the
yeah.
way she said it, the way she described her, I was like, yeah,
I
they're
was
probably
like,
not really
Boo,
friends
did
like
you ask your coworker to come onto the show? Like, who is this? Harpo, who this woman? Like,
who
who
this
is
woman? Who this woman? I
for her to be like, I brought you
and
condoms, girl? Is it we too old?
this is my whole thing. In his conversation, maybe it's because I'm tired of these incels talking their talk. But for him to be like, I feel like she's not submissive enough, and she's too aggressive. Whatever words he was saying to say that she's too much, it's kind of like you just meeting my homegirl. Tell her some bare minimum, but don't basically tell her that your young self can't get me in order. Like what?
Yeah, yeah.
And I might just be sensitive to that because I spend a lot of YouTubers. You know what I mean?
No, I do
But
know what you mean, and I did find it a little bit
cringe.
cringy. Yeah, I was like, "Ooh, okay." You're not trying to impress her friend at all, obviously. You don't care.
So on
You don't
top
care
of
what. Yeah,
all of that, then she has a sensible conversation with his boy, right? Um,
yeah. I thought his boy kept it real. His boy was basically like, "Your mouth, get your mouth together, and y'all be good."
but then I feel also like his boy was lying to her because he wasn't telling the boy like he was good. It felt like he was indicating to the boy, "Yo, sneak me out of here and put me in your car. I am over this."
Well, what was interesting was at the end, this guy was like, "You have my vote." So then I was giving him the side eye. I was like, "She does."
Look, she ain't got Chris vote.
Right. I'm like, Chris don't like her. He's halfway afraid of her. And her friends bringing condoms. Like, I don't know. You the only person that's cheering for this relationship right now, bro.
But this also highlights to me a thing about men. Men will harp about women. Oh, why you playing those games in 90 days? And they will go on and on and on about how they hate that. But when they meet a woman who's not doing that, they are so thrown. They are so thrown off. It's partially that, and then men always be talking about they want a freak in the sheets and a lady in the streets, and I don't think they can handle a freak in the sheets, right? Because if he running away from this woman, asking him to go to the boom boom room.
Although I'm not gonna lie, Alexis comes off as a freak
Really, yeah, she is
in
very freak.
general. So she's a little. I mean, she is a little abrasive. I will say she's a lot, but I can't tell if that's who she really is or if she's performing for the cameras.
Like
They
it was
both
cringe
they
for her
both they
her
both are
hand.
giving perform. They both are giving. They're blowing up their personalities for the TV. Like they just don't seem authentic to me when I watch
Like
them.
it was cringe for her to like the first episode with the paint to put her print on his crotch. That was extra. Her
Yeah,
handprint.
yeah. I mean, she just has. I mean, she's act. It's been a several scenes where she just seems over the top. Like it doesn't even seem like it's grounded in
Like,
anything.
yeah, this is too much. It don't seem like
So
she like him too much.
it seems like you're acting and you're trying to portray a role of the role of a cougar, as opposed to are you really interested in him? To be honest, and he seems like he's trying to be the funny comedian. Like he cracks a lot of jokes, very much like his
The
name
next guy.
Ty. the guy, the older guy,
Yeah.
and so he kind of cracks a lot of jokes too, and it's just like, which who doesn't love to laugh? But a lot of it just with him, he seems they both seem like they're acting. I mean, I hate to say it, they haven't convinced me. I feel like they're actors.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I feel like they both trying to get their SAG card or something. So, good luck to you. But it was kind of nice how they ended it with their people. So I guess both of their people seem to halfway be supportive of this fake relationship.
Well,
So
yeah. Well, that's a fake friend, and a friend who
exactly,
a fake friend and a friend who fakes. Because
exactly,
that dude, yeah, you got my vote. You a lie.
exactly.
So who are
So
we
let's
going to the
see.
next ones?
Hold on. All right.
Nah, not. I think they need to be last because I cannot.
Um. Okay. Wait. I think we talked about everybody else. Let me see who else.
Nah,
Yeah.
because we still got the tie.
Oh, right, right,
Because
right.
they
Hold on.
look, last we left off, they were the
Okay.
ones who ended the episode.
All right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm sorry. That picture is actually just in the wrong space. So yeah. So let's talk about. Let me pull them up. Their overlay.
Well, she ain't attracted to him, and it makes sense to me when you see his brother.
Oh, I forgot. Was his brother really good looking or something? I don't
I feel
remember.
like his brother was like a 10 times better version of him,
Oh, okay.
and that's
Um,
who introduced them.
right. Now I do remember that. Okay, so Brittany and Ty. So he brings her to a date at his house in this
But even
episode.
before that, they had to address the elephant in the room, or they had to address the blow up they had, and I can understand her frustration with him.
Yeah, and after they had that argument, he was making her breakfast and doing all the things that he said he would do. I thought she was a little extreme, to be honest, but I can see how I guess you're only there 3 weeks. You have to do what you say you're gonna do, blah blah blah. So he was doing better. Or at least I think he thought he was doing better. She still I don't think was very
Now, I
interested.
feel like before we even get to the point where he starts doing better, they're trying to have their discussion. He's talking to the fellas, and the fellas are kind of like, dude, just apologize. Like, I feel like he went to her to apologize, but his apology was kind of gonna be like, I'm sorry, but right? And I understand,
Yeah.
like, if somebody's blowing you up on the phone, oh, when I see you, I'm gonna be putting rose petals down. And then when you do see them, they fanning people with the bouquet of roses, and you can't even get any of the wind. Nah, like, no, I could see why she would have a problem. And then to add, I think she feels he's performative, right? He does the things he said he would do, he'll only do them if he can, if the bros think is cool. I think in this, much to your point, in this season, the camaraderie is getting in the way of the connections.
Um I think that is true of the people who actually have a connection. Which I don't think is their case. I mean, I think she's irritated or whatever, but very much like not Alexis, the other girl that went home, she doesn't like him. She's not attracted to him. So I think it's easy to be like, "Oh, he jokes too much. He does this, he does that or whatever." And I'm not saying he's not doing things um that are killing the flame, but I think fundamentally when she saw him, she's not attracted to him.
And then
Because I don't
also,
think I think some of this stuff she'd be more willing to work through or whatever if she was attracted, but she's not.
I'm gonna be honest, if someone's annoying to me already, and they on top of that, they're asking me for a kiss every 5 seconds and trying to touch me, yo, let me warm back up to you.
Yeah, I don't think she was ever warm. I think she was warm on the internet, but I don't think she'd been warm since she got to the house. And
And
so I feel like she's not saying that some of her points are justified, but yeah, it's very hard when you're not attracted to someone to not be irritated by everything they do. And that's what she's giving me. She's just like, because to me, I'm like, you told him all these issues you had. He's done everything the course correct. He waking up early, cooking you breakfast, doing this and that. And then he brings you to his house. Although I will say, his own running out of money. Like, why couldn't you all pay for them to have a regular date? He couldn't take her to. There's seafood places in LA,
Yeah,
so
like this would have creeped me out a bit. Like,
yeah,
damn,
I would have been like, okay, I'm not going to the boom boom room, and I'm not going to the boom boom room in your home. So
why are
what?
we here?
Right. So I don't know why production thought this was a good look, but that being said, he did make the effort of fixing her favorite meal, fixing her favorite drink, and doing all the things. And I mean, she couldn't have some more drink and then just no, wait, let me go back the other way.
Well, but
And just
then
suck it up and give him
Jay
a little tongue.
mentioned,
Like he couldn't put right here. She just
right.
was like, oh, she was so grossed out. I
No,
was
but
like,
Jay also mentioned that she's extremely touchy feely with everyone in the house but him.
oh, right, right, exactly,
And
exactly.
I don't feel like Jay was saying like she always touching on other people men. Like I feel like she's the kind of person like if she talking to you, she hitting you on the top, she tapping your arm, and she just but she's like that with everybody but him. She not
And
feeling
the way she looked when he kissed her, outside of not giving tongue, she was so grossed out. I mean,
right.
she was looking like, oh, I have to do this to get my crab legs. It's a hard life. That's what
Yeah, yeah.
she was like, oh,
I
I
get
want
my
my
crab
dinner.
legs, my continuous own check, like but yeah, they need to be leaving sometime soon too.
Yeah, and then I'll go. Let me skip a few ahead before we get to, because there's a picture I took at the end, I think, when do I have it in here? Let's see. Do I have it in here?
Well, before you even
No, no,
while
no, no,
you're
no.
looking for the
I don't have it here, but I had taken a photo of the group because when they get back from um from their dinner or whatever, and she has her flowers. Yeah, he had bought her flowers. She's coming back with flowers, and they ask her if she gave him some or something, and he's right there, and she's like, "F no," and I'm like, "Dude,
but even before that, because we are about to go into Clay and her name's Ty, right?
Clay
Um,
and Tati."
Tati. So before we even get there, they are doing another game when they're playing. Before they played, I never have I ever.
Right,
We're doing another game, and while they're doing this game, the game is like, well, who do you think has the most secrets here? And everyone says it's Clay.
right.
So I feel like Tati's acting like she's clueless. She had to know this dude was on BS.
Well, yeah. I mean, ever since she caught him, basically, I feel like she overheard what he was telling Jared weeks ago, but assuming that she didn't, she asked him, "What I heard you all were talking, and he was like, "Oh, I love you." She said in that first episode or second or whenever it was that he was lying, and he's still lying. And I didn't really think the whole going vegan thing was that big of a drama,
I think
but
the problem was he was making an unnecessary lie. Like I
well,
never
no, no, no. I
asked.
mean, I get, yeah, like I get it, but it was just like, girl, he wasn't gonna stop eating meat anyway. It's like, like I understand the issue was with him. I think is that, that he performs. So let's get into the Clay. Let me pull them up and Tatiana of it all because things with them this episode were so crazy. So he got to get some,
Yeah, but after gaslighting her, I don't even know.
and
It's not
bringing her
gaslighting.
flowers.
It wasn't
Doing he
gaslighting.
he was love bombing her. I
Love
think that's what
bombing.
what Jared said, and I think that was accurate. I think that's why he comes off so queasy, is because he's so over the top with it. So in this episode, after they've smashed, she's still in her Lala of that, and she thinks he's such a great guy, even though she has to know he's lying, and everybody's talking about secrets. But she's in it. So his best friend is coming to visit, which is her here, and Tati's mother is coming to visit her. So in this episode, the best friend comes. Now, Clay has told everyone in the house, including Tati, that his best friend is a porn star. So I have my suspicions on that, but what do you think was his basis for saying that?
I think he was trying this again, the camaraderie. He was trying to look like the man, let them know that his homegirl's a baddie. You know, I think have you seen Forever on Netflix?
I have not seen it yet.
Okay. I think there's a cuz they seem to have known each other for most of their life. Um I feel like he may have slept with her at a point in time. The question I have is, would her hug for him have been so extra to the house if they didn't know she was a porn star?
Yeah, I mean, I think either way, it would have been it would have been offensive or whatever. But I think knowing that she's a porn star put everybody's
Antennas up.
yeah, expectations on 10. Now, I think kind of with how things went down, and I thought this after the end of the episode. I think maybe she really is his best friend, but I think he wanted to cause this whole jealousy, whatever going on, to camouflage I feel the bigger lie about the daughter, which is exactly what happened. And
Which
I
is
think that's what he
wild to
wanted
me.
to do that.
I think that's wild to me. When, so she comes in, she gives him the hug. Chris sees it. He runs to tell that again. Once again, anyone with a connection, the house is gonna ruin the connection because they messy. They spilling the tea all over the island in the kitchen. They messing things up. They run and tell it before she could even meet the girl. They're like, oh, she ran and she hugged him and wrapped her legs around. So the introduction to the girl, I think she could have played it a bit more cool, because if he allowed that, that's a discussion you have with him later. It's not the woman he's known all this time responsibility to set the boundary. It's his responsibility to set the boundary. Like, I know this is what we've always done, but he could have been like, he could have hit her with the Heisman when she came in to hug him.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. If that is actually how they usually greet each other, I guess okay. I mean, I do feel a ways that Tati didn't see it, but she's so angered by it. And the reason why I think I have an issue sort of with her is from the beginning, she's been mad that he's lying, but it's always been, you made me look like a fool, as opposed to like, I can't trust you, which is the truth. Um, so she was so humiliated really by the other people in the
And
house.
she makes herself look like a fool. Cause like, what are you cursing this
Well,
stranger
yeah, yeah,
out
yeah.
for?
On that part, I agree. But I do feel like you let all these people in the house gaslight you for something you didn't even see yourself. So had she seen it and her reaction was in the moment, then she could have just stepped up and been like, oh, excuse me, or something, you know what I mean? Or and maybe the girl would have explained it to her or whatever. But she was so pushed and triggered and gaslighted and hyped up by everyone in the house telling her how inappropriate it was, that she came in on 10, calling this girl all kinds of names and hoes and whatever. And it's interesting that you're like, okay, you're telling everybody that this girl is a porn star, which I would wonder, I would like to hear kind of her side on that. Like, as a porn star,
Is that how you like
do
him to
you
introduce
do you want
people to
people to
you?
know what you do off the top or not?
I
You
mean,
know?
probably has no problem with it, but when a man is introducing you like that, he has a reason. It's braggadocio. It's not because who like I'm not gonna introduce people to you and be like, that's my girl Erica. You know what I'm saying? She full t-shirts at the Gap.
Right. I mean,
I
I
don't
think
get
that's the thing. And I because I do feel like, and you know, and I actually, I know people in the sex industry or whatever, and I don't know if I would tell, I mean, it's like they obviously, if this is the life they chose, they are proud of it or whatever. But I don't know if they want that prejudgment everywhere they go. That's one thing.
right. Let people get to know me as a person before they start assigning all kinds of stereotypes to me based on my
Exactly. And
industry.
especially a new girlfriend and a house full of people on national TV or just whatever. You know what I'm saying? I think the way he played it was to get Tati jealous, which is exactly what happened. Um,
So then all of this happens. The girl is like, check this out. That's a wild biscuit. I don't even know if I want her around your daughter. This is crazy. He's like, I ain't even tell her about the daughter yet. And she's like,
right,
nigga.
exactly. That's crazy. And then, I mean, I'm sure she's a wonderful person, but so you have a porn star as the godmother. I'm going to leave that there. But I'm sure she's
Well,
really
the golf
nice.
is
I'm
crazy.
sure she's really nice. Maybe she'll, maybe she has strong beliefs in God. She'll guide your daughter if anything happens to you.
My issue with Tati is okay, so she's on fire about this. But him telling her he has a 2-month old isn't enough to make I would have turned him over in that chair.
Okay, so Tati's mom comes sort of in the midst of this big blowout.
No, but she does know about the child
Yes,
first.
because he tells her once he's trying to, and that's why I think that was the purpose. That's what
Deflecting,
I think he wanted to happen, is what happened. She didn't care about the kid because she's worried about the porn star.
which is crazy because the porn star isn't as important as the child. And the child isn't as important as why you always lying? Cuz clearly based on whatever story you're telling me, you and this lady conceived the child right before you met me.
Exactly. And to me, this is the issue that I'm kind of having with Jared and Charlie as well, is that like the children in all of these situations are so young. It's like there is the question, are you still smashing that person? Or cracking
Correct.
that person? I guess that's the word they use here. Are you
Yeah,
still
that's the word they
cracking?
use.
Like that's what I think. That would be my first question. She's not worried about the baby mama, even though the baby is still 3 months old. At some point, I thought he told Jared that the woman even lived in his home. So she ain't got
Yes.
no questions. She worried about this porn star and the hug that she didn't see. That she got to go check the tapes to see because she wasn't in the room. So that to me is crazy. Like I just did not get that. And that's why I feel like Tati is more concerned about how she's looking either to us on camera or to the people in the house or whatever.
But to me, the child would
But
have
the
been the
child,
thing because
yeah, you lied about a kid. You lied about a kid even before we got here.
and people are sitting down laughing at me at a table, and I'm
Thank you.
oblivious, and that's why they're holding up the sticker talking about we got the
Thank
most
you.
secrets. I ain't got no
Thank you.
secrets.
Meanwhile, I just gave up the goods last night. Like, are you kidding me right now? And she's still so mad about the hug that he didn't even do. The girl jumped on him. So that's the part where I'm like, okay, she's kind of lost in the sauce. Now her mom seemed to be very grounded. I liked her mom's conversation.
The moms were pretty.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, her mom seemed to really be grounded and to kind of, be showing her some understanding. And he even went in and met the mom at some point, so that was nice.
Yeah, but not. I get how she was like, okay, you've met her, now you can go.
Well, yeah, because I'm still mad. So
He
yeah,
handles everything in that moment. Like that if that was an hour, that was a lot that she was getting in 1 hour.
Yeah. 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 So that totally made sense. So
Well, and then when she makes him call the girl, which is crazy, right? I'm never making a man call somebody and put them on speakerphone. All I'm gonna say is, yo, handle your situation. But as a woman who has a lot of male friends, for his friend to start going off on her like, yo, you a brokey, you a brokey. I got more money than you. Yo, is this your friend?
yeah. Yeah. I mean, I
Because for me, I would have been like, look, I don't know. I understand why you're upset. However, I think that you two need to have this discussion. I meant no disrespect. And I would have hung up the phone as a friend. I wouldn't have been throwing no friggin' matches on the flyer.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I mean, I think the girl was irritated and upset, and I think Clay, either you're gonna stand by your best friend or you're gonna stand by your new girlfriend. But you need to have some balls and stand by somebody. And he kind of wasn't really saying much of anything and just letting them argue, which I would be like,
But
she
then if,
cursed me out the
if
first
this is
time.
your
I'm
best
good.
friend,
I'm not saying anything else to her.
but if this is truly your friend, you already know he be on bullshit, right? You know he's on bullshit. So I'd be looking at him like, dog, I don't know how you keep pulling me into your nonsense. Please talk to your girl. I'm not gonna talk to her. Or you're calling me. I'm on speakerphone. Okay. Yo, the way I would have cussed him when he got home, I'd be like, yo, you know what, yo? Ma'am, I meant no disrespect. I'm sorry this turned out this way. Maybe we could be better one of these days. And I would have hung up the
Yeah, I
phone.
wouldn't have
But
engaged at all. Like, I don't even think I would have said much of anything. I just would have been like, okay, that's between you and your girl. I'm gonna do it. Either she gonna do what she want to do or not. But I can't imagine you're gonna end your friendship for someone you just met in person the other day, 3 weeks ago. So I
right,
definitely and if the girl feels like she's justified in hugging you like that, that's a tough one. I mean, I agree. I think the friend, I'm trying to think. I've never really been in that situation, I don't think. So, I mean, I have a lot of male friends.
I'm also never jumping
Yeah, like
on
I
any of
never,
my
I don't, I
male
mean, I'm
friends.
not a big hugger, honestly. So,
Even if I were, like, I do not, I'm not putting my legs around any of my
yeah, and
male
certainly
friends.
not in front of a whole bunch of people. Not for the camera.
Not in private either, because they don't even know. Not in private either, because just because they your friend don't mean that men know how to act.
Right. No, I agree. I agree. I agree. So now what's interesting is they go to I have a picture. So they go to therapy. I was kind of like, girl, just pack your bags now. But let's go see if the therapist can fix it.
Right, and the therapist is looking at them like, mm.
She's mad and you're a liar. So now what?
Right. There wasn't anything for therapy. I think Tati wanted to throw her tantrum. Okay, you remember in the game when they found out dude was cheating with Drew Sidora, Durbin was cheating with Drew Sidora,
Hmm.
and they were at a party, and Melody slapped the hell out of him, and he tried to say something, and she was like, "Shut up and take it." That's one of my favorite scenes of any sitcom. I think she wanted to. I think she wanted him to shut up and take it.
Yeah, no, exactly. I think what she wanted was payback. And I don't because I wasn't really convinced when she was with the therapist and even when she was talking later that she was really uh giving him
Over
a
it.
shot. I know she said I wasn't giving him her, she wasn't giving it her all. Girl, you wasn't giving it nothing.
And I get it because she just slept with him the night before. I think it's pretty callous for him to pack his bags after going to the boom boom room and leaving. I know he was trying to, I don't know, trying to be apologetic, but that seemed performative because you're a liar. This is the fifth lie that we have stumbled upon in this in the second week. You find what I'm saying? So, but I still think it was callous of him to take her to the boom boom room, knowing he had all these lies, and then pack his bag so easily to leave.
Okay, so let's talk about him leaving because I think he wanted her, he wanted something from her other than, that attitude. And for a moment, she was like, "No, I want to work it out." And then it seemed like he was going to stay for a second, and then he was like, "No, I'm packing my bags. I'm gone." And I don't think
Right.
she really wanted
What do
him
you
to
think
stay.
was
I think she
callous?
wanted to stay on the show.
I think she wants to work it out with him because she done slept with him. At least let's make it through the show. Cause now I just look really stupid. I look stupid for a week, for a week and a half that I didn't know, and I look super stupid in this whole day that multiplied by 10. And now you just gonna pack your bag and throw up the peace sign like, yo, this was cool and
Cause
everything, but I'm
I'm like,
out.
how you gonna play chess and you don't know how to play chess? Like what?
And why would they be sitting down playing chess instead of really sitting? They should have just been, even if it was silence, sit in the garden until we can talk.
Right. So, so she made the little snake with the roses, and he's trying to, and I think it was just the chess, and then she is kind of quick with the mouth and kind of a smart, she has a kind of a smart mouth. And
And he said he had a bit of PTSD from serving in the military. I don't know if I believe him because he a damn
I mean,
liar,
he might have
but
some PTSD, but people in the military
he's
have a tendency,
definitely
not everybody, but there's a lot of cheating going on in the military. So he might have a different kind of PTSD.
the thing for me that I don't like how he tries to avoid all confrontation. I actually don't like people who try to avoid confrontation. Let's get direct so we could get through this and to the other
Yeah, and
side.
I to some extent, I don't know if I think, I don't know. I wouldn't say I avoid confrontation, but I'm not the most confrontational person. I will say that, but I don't be lying. Like that's the thing where I'm like, okay, you know, to me, there were several instances where people point blank asked you questions and you lied. Like in the beginning, you're like, okay, I haven't told her about the baby yet. But when you start telling everybody about it, and they all know, and they're whispering behind her back, and she's asking you, what are you keeping? Now you're just lying. And
He lied at least
I
50
mean, so
times.
many times. And everyone knew he was lying. And I do think even the whole love bombing was a lie, because it's like you like the girl but you don't like her that much, like chill out with that. And
And then it's her feel like I've never felt this way about anybody before. She felt stupid. I think if she really wanted to stay, she should have been clear to him like, I am very mad right now. I still want to work it out, but you going to have to let me abuse you a little
right,
bit.
or just say like it's going to take me a minute or something. But she didn't really give him an inch. And I kind of get what he's saying. Like, if it's a waste of my time, why am I going to keep filming just to let you abuse me so you can get your payback? Which is, I think, what she really wanted. Like, I don't really feel like she was, I don't know, I'm 50-50 because she did just sleep with him. But I don't know. He's been lying from the beginning, even though you didn't know what it was about. And her whole thing, I don't know, the whole thing about not caring. That's what's so crazy to me. Like, I still can't get over the fact that she's more mad that the porn star girl hugged him funny than the fact that he lied about a whole person, a whole baby. Like, girl.
Right. Not asking any further questions either about the mother.
Yeah, you're like, oh,
I don't think there's enough questions being asked about the co-parents in these situations.
yes, yeah, exactly. She's not asking nothing. She's just worried that the porn star is going to take her spot. And she's so shocked that he wants to go home. Like, well, girl.
I mean, it makes sense he wants to go home, but what also makes sense to me is that she should have just he should have shut up and take it. Don't make this girl look that bad.
Yeah.
because she just came up out the boom boom room with
Yeah,
him.
I agree with that, and I think he just did not have really the nerve or the balls or whatever to just kind of take it and you know, he just was like, "Nah, I'm over it. You only gonna talk to me crazy one more time."
Essentially, he was like, "Yeah, I'm off
Yeah,
this." But I think even that it was about saving face
yeah, yeah,
for the people.
yeah. I mean, I think he didn't want to stay there and let her basically humiliate him in front of everybody, which is what she was about to do. To be honest, she was gonna give you a little bit more abuse. She's gonna leave a few more, maybe throw your clothes out the window or something. She's gonna do a few more things to humiliate you. And in the end, y'all probably still would have packed anyway. So,
Yeah, so that's the episode.
yes, yes.
I think he went out really sad.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think that they, hold on, let me get rid of Alexis and Chris. Yeah, I thought he could have, I thought he could have done better. I mean, I think she could have pulled it in a little bit at the end, but I'm not necessarily convinced that I feel like she was kind of done too. I think they both were kind of trying to save face. I think she wanted him to
Has
stay
she
there
done
to
any
save face.
interview?
What did you say?
Has she done any interviews since? Because I'd love to hear her perspective after seeing how stupid she looked the whole the whole entire time she was there because everybody knew but her.
Exactly. I haven't seen any interviews, but yeah, I haven't seen any interviews yet. So that would be interesting. I do want to hear. I wouldn't mind hearing from both of them really because like he got a crazy edit. So if he can, talk his way out of all those lies, that would be interesting. But I would like to see her perspective if they ever talked again. Was she really done? Um, you know. So that was the episode. It looks like next week, the main thing I remember from the previews is,
Is that Jared done lost his damn mind?
well, I mean, Elise is gonna finally come. We ended with them sitting there, and she's like, "Well, I'm not gonna upload it." I had taken a photo where she's like, "You think I'm gonna leave this man?" And he's looking crazy, like, "Girl, I'm gone." That's how he's looking.
Yeah, he did look at her like,
He's
"Ooh,
looking
he a little in too
right,
deep."
and he's like, "The honeymoon period is over," and I'm just like, he's just I guess he wants to show us his acting skills because he never acts like he's not into her when they're together. So so that'll be interesting next episode. I think we'll see where they're going and maybe he'll surprise us and try to redeem himself in the end. But
He need to go home. His duplicity is disturbing.
yes, these days he's looking crazy. He's looking very creepy. Well, thank you guys. Please like, comment, and subscribe to both of us. And we will be back next week, but it'll probably be, hopefully, it'll be Monday or Tuesday, and we'll be back on our regular schedule. So, anything else you want to share with us? Anything going on with you, Goody?
Not at all. I'm just like I said, this every step towards having the microphone on a regular basis.
Exactly. Exactly. So we're going to keep on making content for you guys. Thank you so much. Be true, be you, be great, everybody. Like, comment, and subscribe. And we'll see you guys next week. Shout out for
Fuck
now.
this shit, I'm out. Fuck this shit, I'm out. No.